Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our weekly art-based meditation brought to you by the National Museum of Asian Art. I'm Demi Mohammed, the museum's public programs assistant, and I'm thankful that you've chosen to take this time to share with us. Today's meditation will be led by Aparna as we focus on a sound-based meditation. We'll be listening to the musical Postcards by the Silkroad Ensemble, which was commissioned by the museum and inspired by Whistler's Symphony in Grey. And again, we thank you for being here, and I'll pass it to Aparna to get us started.
Thank you so much, Demi, for opening today's session. Namaste. Namaste to everybody who's here. As always, I'm very, very grateful for your kind, loving presence here. Thank you for taking this time to share your Friday afternoon and this art-inspired meditation with us. So it is often said with meditation that a work created in meditation becomes the source of meditation for many, many more years to come, or a longer time to come. And I feel like this must be true in the context of our inspiration today. Like Demi said, we are inspired to practice a sound-based meditation, which is inspired by this particular composition called Symphony in Grey. And it's a part of the album Musical Postcards by the Silkroad Ensemble. Now, this work, this beautiful composition, which has different instruments like violin, tabla, shakuhachi, the Japanese flute, it is in turn inspired by a painting. So we will come to that painting later, but we'll start today by centering our attention. We will hone our skills of listening through our attention centering practices. And after that, we will first listen to the sounds of this composition and allow those sounds to spontaneously paint a picture in our mind. And then we'll go on to look at the artwork, the oil painting, which was the inspiration for this musical performance. And we'll then listen to the same composition while the painting is in view. So this is our broad plan for today's practice. And to get started, I invite you to sit upright. Feel free to put a pillow behind your back if that's more supportive of your posture. And then close your eyes or simply lower your gaze. A third option for your eyes is to just look straight ahead, staring blankly at what is in front of your eyes, meaning we're not going to analyze what the eyes see. And as always, we can start by taking a few deep mindful breaths, inhaling through the nose, perhaps exhaling through the mouth. Like you're breathing into the here, breathing out into the now. And hopefully these few deep mindful breaths provided us a quick way to attune to the present moment. And now we'll go on to build upon that initial connection to the mind, breath, and the body, and to being here now. To do so, let's first notice where our mind naturally wants its attention to wander. Chances are that we are not probably in the moment. And if that's the case, let's acknowledge that, trusting and accepting that this is a perfectly fine place to start today's practice. We'll invite our attention with all love, respect, kindness to focus on the body. Let's attune to the physicality of our being by bringing awareness to each part of the body as I mention it. So when I mention a part of the body, bring your awareness there. Notice whatever sensations you're able to observe. And if there are none, just observe that. And then notice the inner volume of that body part. So we'll observe sensations and inner volume of each body part to feel its presence. So if you're ready, please bring your awareness to your hands. What are the sensations you notice in your fingers, palms, back of the hands? And what is the inner volume occupied by your hands? Can you intuitively sense the inner volume without having to move your hands or see them? When that is complete, let's bring the same practice of interoceptive and proprioceptive awareness of sensations and inner volume to the forearms, the elbows, the upper arms, the shoulders, the chest and the waist, the back, the hip, the seat, the thighs, the knees, the lower legs, the feet, the neck, and the head. Take your time to bring awareness of the whole body, particularly how the body feels right now. Like we're intently listening to whatever the body is communicating through these sensations. At any time of this practice, if you feel that a quick movement or a very skillful adjustment to your body's position will help you release what needs to go, feel free to do that and then come back to your stillness. And as a way of acknowledging all that is through this body, let's take 3 deep breaths, breathing into the here, into this body, breathing out in the now, breathing in here, breathing out now. Since today's practice is about listening, we'll now start focusing on the aspect of listening. We'll start by listening to the sound of our own breathing. There are two ways you could do this. You could let your breath happen on its own and then catch that subtle sound of your breath. A slightly more accessible choice could be softly engaging your throat towards the back, like when you swallow or burp. And with that, breathe in and out. You'll hear an ocean wave-like sound in your breathing when you take these ujjayi or victory breaths. Now, for another 10 breaths or so, try to attune to the sound of your breathing. If your attention wanders away, just come back to that sound of breathing. When those 10 breaths are complete, let go of any efforts to your breath. And now check in with your bodily sensations. Particularly, notice the way your heart is beating, the rate at which your heartbeat is happening. You may notice if there are any shifts in your bodily sensations than when you checked in the last time. Notice any way that your body is responding to the perception of the sound of your own breath, the sound of your own life force or prana. When that is complete, and let's spend about 30 seconds externalizing our attention, bringing awareness to any sounds we might hear in our surroundings, wherever we are. And when that is complete, now let's bring awareness to the sounds of the composition that we'll be listening for the next 3 to 4 minutes. Feel free to close your eyes if it allows you to attune to the vibrations of the sound. Go from the sound itself to the vibration as you perceive its effects on your heartbeat, on your body, and so on and so forth. Take this time to check in with your mind body. What do you feel in response to that music? Short composition. When you pay attention to what you feel, what kind of an imagery is it painting for you? If you'd like to, you can even record your observations in the chat. And then just think about how, on top of this intuitive sense of what this music is about, how does it help to know that the title of this track is called Symphony in Grey? How does this knowledge of the composition's title add to or perhaps change your perspective of what you just heard? We'll take the next 30 seconds to complete our observation of all these. And when that's complete, let's go on to take a look at the painting that inspired this composition. Open your eyes if they were closed. And what you'll be seeing on screen is a painting by the artist James McNeill Whistler from the year 1871. And it's titled Symphony in Grey, Early Morning Thames. So this is the Thames River. It was painted in London in the year 1871. And this painting is about 39 3/8 by 31 3/8 inches. So we'll first look at this painting and just this resolution. And then slowly, as we zoom in, let's start noticing details that we perhaps couldn't see previously. As you observe these different shades of gray, as you observe the light and dark shades, how do you feel the light must have been falling onto this particular scene around the Thames River? I will zoom in a little more closer. Perhaps this view allows us to appreciate the artist's hand in the form of brush strokes. So how does all of that convey a sense of movement? And what are the qualities of that movement we feel? Does it seem structured, almost laminar, or is it turbulent in parts? Perhaps we're drawn to the mystery of this building here. Maybe a factory or a deserted home. Maybe we're wondering, what could these vertical lines here mean? Then as we move our gaze down to the left bottom corner of the viewer's left bottom corner of this painting, there's this small thing like a milestone. You can zoom in to see what marks it bears. And then when we have appreciated visually this work of art, we'll take a moment to look away from the screen or close our eyes maybe, to just process our own innate experience. Now we'll go on to look at that same artwork along with the music. Take a moment to reflect on how this process of listening to the music may have furthered our imagination of this scene. Perhaps it helped us animate this frozen picture, this image, making it come alive. Perhaps enhancing our sensation of movement in the waters of the Thames River. And how is all of this experience of engaging with art visually and through sound shaping our own awareness in this body? What do we notice now? And how has that changed since the beginning of our practice? For all these rewards of our practice, let's place hands over the heart, saying a silent thanks to ourselves. And then let's close our practice, joining palms in prayer. First, bowing to the light within, and then bowing to the light of the teachings of yoga and the teachers whose efforts have kept this ancient wisdom alive. Maybe bow to the creative energy of all the different artists of the Silkroad Ensemble, composer Haruka Fuji, James McNeil Whistler, all of this creative energy. Let's bow to that. And maybe bow to each other, like we're saying, the light in me honors the light in you.